Everything you just saw was filmed with the SkyRover X1 here, and if you don't know, this is basically a DJI Mini 4 Pro. Like, exactly. It's a pretty much exact replica. I am not convinced that DJI didn't make this drone because it's pretty much the exact same with just a few very, very minor tweaks. Those might be important to you though, so we're gonna talk about those and basically how everything performs in this drone that just happens to be considerably cheaper than the DJI Mini 4 Pro. So why would you not buy this? I don't really know. Let's dive right in. You saw some of the footage here for a sub 249 gram pocket drone. This thing is fantastic. It's amazing. It's got every feature that you could want if you're a beginner or maybe even intermediate filmmaker. In a pro's hands, this could absolutely produce some amazing results. We're gonna dive into this thing and I torture tested this thing. I absolutely know the complete limitations of this lens. I did crash it a few times. I did what I do not recommend you to do, so you don't have to. So if you do appreciate that, guys, hit that like and subscribe button. We're gonna do a quick no-nonsense review here, and we're gonna dive into just the specs here. So absolutely, spec-wise, it's a very, very capable drone. It is under 250 grams, so you don't have to register it in most places. And this thing currently is going to be able to get around the DJI ban that's happening in the States. If you're elsewhere, you might just be wondering, why am I gonna spend all that money on the Mini 4 Pro if I can just buy this thing? And that's what we're gonna answer. So the footage, it is 4K up to 100 frames per second, 4K 60, 24, 30, all that good stuff, but it is very, very nice. You probably can't tell the difference between this drone and the Mini 4 Pro. Let's get the things that I dislike about this drone out of the way, and they're not that many. They're kind of compromises. Number one, the controller here, you need a phone. It doesn't have a built-in screen like the RC controller from DJI. That thing I miss so much. I didn't realize how incredible that was because you just pull it out and it works. You don't need to mess around with your phone and having stuff come through and turn off airplane mode and all this stuff. Like it's just there. So that might not be a big deal because most people, I would say, especially buying this drone, they're not gonna fly it a ton anyways. I do have a backup phone that I use, but when I went to shoot the other day, I went out to my spot an hour away and I forgot my phone. So that sucked. If I had the built-in screen, that would have been awesome. And I do miss that. So is it worth a bunch of more money? That's gonna be up to you. So it is nice to have with the DJI, but again, do you need it? I don't know. So the controller itself feels really nice, feels really good. It is actually missing some of the buttons that the RC controller has. I think there's one or even two up here at the top. You can basically go from looking straight forward to straight down right away, which is nice. And you've got a couple customizable buttons underneath. This thing has none of those. So it's more bare bones, but it performs exactly the same. And when I mean this thing's pretty much a DJI Mini 4 Pro, I mean it. It feels the same, it looks the same, the app is basically the same. There's just a tiny few features that are kind of absent, I guess, to make this thing way cheaper. Let's talk about some of the limitations. Now, active tracking. Of course, a lot of people these days are excited and buy these probably for active tracking, whether you're hiking or biking or quadding or your car, whatever. You can get some really cool shots just by pushing auto and let the thing follow you around. I have to say, this works really, really well, and it's really cool and sticky. In a lot of cases, it bypassed trees and it just kind of knew where I was going to be, where there was a huge gap where a few years ago, drones, there's no way drones could keep up with that. So it does a phenomenal job in good light. Now, here's the caveat. Of course, these sensors are very small. These drones are so small. Do not expect wonders out of this thing, or even the DJI. In lower light, the active tracking and the obstacle avoidance is not going to work very well. And it will tell you this. It says there's not enough light, or maybe it warns you and then it kind of goes away. Trust it. There's not enough light, even though it actually uses infrared, and you can actually see that on the controller with a cool setting that I kind of like. But anyways, I crashed this thing because I didn't heed the warnings, and when it says it doesn't have enough light, it does not. So be well warned about that, but in good light, it performs honestly above my expectations. Very, very well. So that's really cool, but the obstacle avoidance, the 360 obstacle avoidance, and the active tracking are gonna be more light dependent, so keep that in mind.
Here's a quick look at the obstacle avoidance in real time. I'm actively trying to crash this drone here into pretty much everything. I have it set to bypass instead of brake, so it's going to do its best to go around the obstacles. And you can see that in decent light, it's actually doing a pretty good job and avoiding everything in its path. I did get a little bit scared in a couple instances, but overall, I think it did a pretty darn good job. Well, it didn't crash, so I guess it did a great job. Like most drones, it's going to struggle when it's moving more quickly and when there's little branches or things that it can't quite make out. That's when you're going to run into problems.
The image quality overall is going to be pretty darn good. Again, in good light, lower ISOs, it's going to look nice and crispy. I really don't have any complaints for what this drone is. In lower light, they've actually come a long way in recent years. It does have a low light setting, and for me, it's actually pretty darn good. Again, above and beyond what I expected out of a sensor this tiny. So image quality is actually really good for me. Now, it does also have the quick shots, so you can do pre-programmed maneuvers basically with the active tracking, droney and comet or asteroid or whatever, all of those cool things you can just kind of set up, swipe around your subject or just hit the plus because it knows where you are most of the time, and then hit go and it makes you a cool shot. So that's really neat, especially for beginners or people that just want to post some cool stuff on social media, or if you're traveling or something, that's really neat. So this thing, again, has pretty much everything you could want in a beginner or intermediate drone. And then some. The controls are intuitive. The app is basically the exact same. If you've ever used a DJI, it's pretty much the exact same. As of right now, there is no D-Log. So if you are not a heavy video editor, this isn't gonna matter anyway. Everything that you see that I shot was filmed basically on auto. No post-production, maybe a little bit of saturation in some of them, but by no means did I go in and start tweaking profiles and adding LUTs and all that kind of stuff. Absolutely nothing. Everything you see is just straight out of camera. Now, as far as the range is concerned, this is dependent on your environment, of course, like any drone. If you're in the city, if you have a ton of interference around, the range isn't going to be very good. Even if you're in the forest, like me, there's just not a lot out here, but there's trees in the way, it's not going to be very good. Keep your expectations reasonable. If you have line of sight and it's, a big open field, or you're up on a hill or a mountain, it's going to be a lot better. But the range is going to be, they claim, about 15 kilometers. There's no way you could ever need or want to go that far, but a couple kilometers, absolutely no problem, easy. And it's really fast, it gets there really quick. So range, not an issue at all. Just try your best to keep line of sight. And of course, depending on where you are, follow your local laws and whatnot. Next, touching on battery life really quick. I'm not going to get into this too much. I think they claim about 25 minutes, but that again is so dependent on your environment and how you're flying. If you just have it hovering or whatever, it's probably going to get that. But if you're using sport mode, whipping out here and there and in the wind, it's not going to be as good. You might get maybe 20 minutes. In my experience, I find that I can get about 2 hyperlapses, maybe about 12, 14 seconds each, and a little bit of flying around before it comes back. You can't really judge the battery life anyways, because you need that time to get back, usually about 30%. So it is very good, and it's comparable to all the other drones out there. So call it 20 minutes or so, depending on, again, how cold it is, how you're flying, blah, blah, blah. Now, what about the wind resistance? It claims a decent wind resistance, but I can tell you it's probably way better than that. I took my leaf blower to it. The thing does 200 miles an hour right out of the muzzle there. And I cranked it up to the max and it survived. So it's gonna be way more than you should ever be flying in. And it didn't even crash. It got a little squirrely a couple times, but my goodness, it is incredibly stable. So if there's a little bit of wind up there, you know, I wouldn't be worried about it. Again, don't fly in crazy windy conditions. You might lose your drone, but it is very capable when it comes to wind. I just did this worst case scenario just because I wanted to, and I wanted to see if I could push the limits of this thing. For you social media guys and you vertical lovers, this thing actually does shoot in full vertical. This is not really something that I do, but it is kind of a big deal if you are somebody that posts a lot on social. It's giving you the full sensor, just flip, so you get all the resolution. Pretty cool, and again, not really expected in a drone of this price.
So touching on the photos for a second, they're not going to blow you away with a tiny sensor like this. They do claim a 48 megapixel sensor. You have two options, 12 megapixels and 48 megapixels. It's not true 48 megapixels, although it does look a little bit sharper. The files are bigger and you can shoot in RAW. Just don't be surprised when your pictures come out kind of mediocre. That's just the limitations of the drone. In some good light, you can get some decent shots, but anything less than perfect conditions, it's going to be a little bit muddy. And of course, with the tiny sensor, dynamic range is really going to struggle. Here's an example of just a quick edit in post. If you push the edits, it's really not going to look that good. That said, it's better to have a camera in the sky than not have one in case something cool shows up. I am a photographer at heart, using a full frame camera most of the time, so really most drones are not going to impress me when it comes to photography.
So again, all the footage you saw was straight out of camera with no ND filters. So if you want the best looking footage, I would really strongly recommend you invest in some NDs. I don't have them for this. At this point, I don't fly a drone a ton these days, and if I wanted to, it looks like there is some clip-ons available. It doesn't come with the combo. If there was something to nitpick about this combo here, I would like to see at least one ND filter or 3 included in the pack. But it doesn't look like they're super readily available as well. But yeah, if you want the best footage out of this drone, absolutely invest in some ND filters. But what you saw is with none. So those, for me anyways, are the things that matter about this drone. I think it's phenomenally well priced and just a great budget option compared to the alternative that you may or may not be able to buy depending on where you live. So yeah, this thing is a slam dunk, and I would love to see SkyRover or whoever's making this thing make a, something the next level up, something like the Air 2, or you know what, even a better sub 250 gram drone, just to kind of keep things legal and all that jazz. Yeah, I can't wait to see what they come out with. This drone is a slam dunk for me. I think it's just phenomenal. Aside from if you can get past the no RC controller, I would absolutely recommend this thing to you. Let's leave it at that, guys. Thanks so much to SkyRover for sending me this unit for a review. And if you did appreciate all the torture tests and this review in general, if you liked it, hit that like and subscribe button, join the community. Anyways, guys, I will drop an affiliate link if you wanted to pick it up. If I can find a discount code or a sale, I will drop that down there as well. And like always, make mistakes, be yourself, and get out there and take some more pictures. See you next time.